Welcome to the Jehovih Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
Right back like I left it. Hostess with the mostest, holding that fire like a roach clip. Your naga, your nerve, fresh up off of that curb, jelly, jam and preserve. Cosmoni and the cloud kicker. Right back up in here with Jehovih Chronicles number 315, Oahspe. Primary for the universe. You dig what I'm talking about? This is the very first sponsored show we're going to be doing this evening. You dig what I'm talking about? The very first sponsor show, and we want to give it up to the Ortega Bacon Lip Factory for supporting this live.
What do we have here?
A guy has his lips stuck to the pole.
It's his third time this week.
The revolutionary facial accessory that's starting problems it can't solve. Your 600-pound wife won't kiss you? Slap on a set of bacon lips. Problem solved. Getting caught breaking into your neighbor's house by the guard dogs? Throw them your bacon lips. Enjoy a smooth getaway. About to get punched in the mouth by a Muslim? Throw on your bacon lips. They'll punch you in the stomach instead. Want a face like drop lasagna? Throw on your bacon lips. For the people who lost the genetic lottery, but kept buying tickets because putting lipstick on a pig felt too ambitious. Ma'am, can you identify the suspect?
Yes, it was number 4.
How do you know for certain?
I remember his bacon lips.
When dignity is permanently out of stock.
Now and jerk and cage and flavor, man.
Make bacon lips a part of your incomplete education.
Salute to the Ortega Bacon Lip Factory. You dig what I'm talking about for coming through with. You dig what I'm talking about with some of these good ends to help promo and create content for the channel. Thank you for being a pseudo.
Put on my black shades because my future is so bright. Roll me up a spliff so I can get right. No worries on today, I took the day off. Jamming on the red star. We'll get there walking or by car. Not matter how far. Mr. Cloud Kicker, please don't hurt them. False gods, we gonna work them. Them sacred book got to judge them. You bring them, we raise them, have to serve them. Tons from the depths of my being, organically real. Center of the feeling goes far beyond the ceiling. We got that good stuff in Cosmonera. I got that good stuff in Cosmonera. We got that good stuff in Cosmonera. You got that good stuff in Cosmonera. It's 420, I feel like I'm about to float. Been to a few nations like a spotted goat. Head on swivel in the spirit, intuitive goal. Our stars can't be replicated, now act like you know. We be jamming on the red star with my friend. I got that good stuff, yeah, in Cosmonera. You got that good stuff in Cosmonera. You got that good stuff in Cosmonera. We got that. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old texts lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old texts lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Sirens in the night, nobody shocked at the noise. Yellow tape stretch where they once played as boys. Numbers on the screen turning life to a choice. Timeline scroll quick, life never had a voice. Crowds gather round, but the questions remain. Everybody seen it, but ain't got a name. Patterns in the chaos, but it's easier to blame with whatever narrative the channels want to frame. History buried, but it bleed through the cracks. Old warnings written, now they line up with facts. Same cycles turning, just a different set of acts. Same end result every time it collapses. Nobody asking why the pressure's immense, or why it feel heavier just to exist. Everything loud, laced with suspense, like something got taken without any compense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Books full of knowledge, but the spirit get ignored. Mapped out the stars, they think Saturn's the Lord. Charts on the wall, got them feeling the shore. Cut off anything that ain't measured or explored. Teach what they see, all else is dismissed. Call it blasphemy if it don't coexist with the data they gather in the systems they script. Truth get narrowed down to the lens they equip. People walk around like they stuck in a phase. Talk like they living, but they lost in a maze. Can't tell the difference, real life in the stage. Playing out scripts that they write on a page. Try to speak deep but get labeled intense. Say it's too much or it don't make sense. But the more that they reject, the more it commence. Like a loop that repeat with a porous defense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Big buildings rise, put a crown on the place. Call it center of the world, everything on second place. Power gets stacked, now it's all about the race. Who can dominate the map, who can regulate the space. Leaders speak loud, but it's all self-interest. Every move calculated, never random in the business. Send waves out with just a widen the distance between those who comply and those in resistance. Glory on display, make it look like it's pure, but behind closed doors, it's a different report. Decisions getting made that the public can't afford, where disease get patented without no cure. Expansion the goal and never knowing it end. Armies of the gods cleanse the land of descent. Every structure built will eventually bend. When it's rooted in control, it despise free men. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book to make it all make sense. Time coming close where it won't be belief. Things getting shown, put the doubters to sleep. Not a matter of opinion, a scientific retreat. When it's sight in the eye, can't deny what it see. Proof in the works, even if it take time. Generations build just to reach that line where the truth stand clear, not hidden in lies. And the ones who deny get washed in the tide. Some will accept, some will turn away fast. Some in the trance to the spells that they cast, but the ship still move it the way to just pass. Answers was written before the questions was asked. Everything aligning, every sign kill fear. Past meet present, now the picture feel clear. What was once questioned, now it's turning the gears. And the record been there, just ignored through the years. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense.
Now, once again, right back at it, man. This Jehovah Chronicles number 315, right? 315 of them cooking. This is the primary Oahspe, right? The primary for the universe. That is a massive claim. You dig what I'm saying? Well, what does it mean to be primary? It means to be first. And not only historically, but chronologically, right? If somebody told you something that you couldn't prove till 50 years later, the person who told you was the primary for that information. Just so happens that Oahspe gives information on the whole universe and its creation. That is called the cosmogony, right? Just so happens it also contains a whole book in Oahspe on cosmogony. Salute to the creator gang, man, those who stand by the creator, man. First and foremost, all praise to the ever-present creator, the one who always was, is, and ever shall be, said, I am, and comprehended all. He told man to name him. So man, in his inspiration, didn't name him after anything that was on the earth. He named him after what was essential, powerful, needed, and yet unseen. Man named him after the wind, and that the sound that the wind makes, and he called him anciently I-O-Ah. Meaning the all, the unity, the one. Salute to those who Oahspe says today are the remnants of the Algonquins of America, who are standing up by the side of the creator, man. Salute to the creator gang, man. Salute to the objective spiritualists, those who know this ain't no game. 1 second. Yeah. The people that's standing by the creator. How do you stand by the creator? Do the right thing. Even when there's no benefit for you yourself, man. Like my brother say, salute to the real ones. The real ones are faithless. And it doubles down and said all good things in the world come through faithless. You dig what I'm talking about? That don't mean that it ain't gonna be hard. That ain't gonna mean it ain't gonna get tough. But it does mean you understand that even the tough times culminate to an all glorious, purposeful, and beneficial ending and purpose, right? That's the only part that we would even apply to belief, but we don't call it belief. We call it belief objectified. That's faith, right? Faith is I know 2 + 2 will always be 4, even if I can't see it at the time, right? 2 + 2 is always 4. That understanding is the grandest understanding, and it's called and misunderstood as the creator. They call it mathematics. They call it mind. That certain things just are. They like to call it nature and law. There is no law. Only the will of the Most High, right? Oahspe gives some astounding revelations in the year 1882, right? That science is just now catching up with, right? And even in our most basis understanding of the universe and how it works, what it was made with. You dig what I'm talking about? The who, what, where, and why of the universe was, in most parts, explained 4 to 5 to 6 decades through Oahspe before science was able to wrap its mind around it, perceive it, and even know it existed. Right? So again, proving the primacy of the information within the text of Oahspe. Right? We're going to get into it, right? 1 second. We're going to get into it. But let's cook, y'all. This is modern science. And what it has been finding in the universe. Right? This is what it's been finding. You dig what I'm saying? That almost word for word, what Big Bang predicted was wrong. And yet, almost word for word, what Oahspe explained in 1882, before any of these concepts were known or proven, has science now backs up. This is amazing. Y'all watch this. This is a little documentary. We just gonna show it real quick, and we cooking.
Reading these words, a spacecraft the size of a small car, built with 1970s technology, powered by less electricity than the LED bulb in your bathroom, is transmitting data from a place no human eye has ever seen, no instrument has ever touched, and no scientific model has ever accurately predicted. And what it is sending back is forcing the brightest minds on this planet to rewrite the rulebook on everything they thought they knew about the universe. The machine is called Voyager 1. It launched in 1977. It was supposed to last 5 years. It is now approaching its 50th year of operation. And what it just did, what it just revealed, is something that should be on the front page of every newspaper on Earth. It is not. And that, more than anything else, should make you want to keep reading. There are moments in history when a single discovery changes everything, not gradually, not over decades of debate, instantly. A line gets drawn in time, and the world that existed before it never quite comes back. The discovery of fire, the realization that the Earth orbits the sun, the moment we split the atom. Most people, when those moments happen, do not recognize them. They are too buried in the noise of ordinary life to notice that the rules have just shifted beneath their feet. What is happening right now in the cold mathematical silence?
Y'all share the live out, man. Thumb up the video, share the live out. We getting cooking. Proving that Oahspe is the primary for the universe. Oahspe gives the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of the universe, and modern science is now backing it up. There is a new paradigm shift coming in the game. Salute Sila Shalom. He been telling y'all for almost 20 years.
Interstellar space. Maybe one of those moments. And the only witness, the only set of eyes humanity has in that darkness, is a machine that was never supposed to survive long enough to see it. Voyager 1 launched on September 5th, 1977, from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Its original mission was simple: fly past Jupiter, fly past Saturn, take pictures, gather data, and go silent. A 4-year sprint, a postcard from the outer solar system. Nobody at NASA expected what would happen next. Instead of dying quietly, Voyager 1 kept going and going and going. It passed Jupiter in 1979, it passed Saturn in 1980. It kept accelerating, pulled by gravitational slingshots around the gas giants, and it never stopped. It entered interstellar space in 2012, becoming the first human-made object in history to cross the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's influence ends and the true void between stars begins. That alone was a feat worthy of every award civilization has ever invented. But it did not stop there either. Think about what that means for a moment. The heliopause is not just a scientific concept. It is the actual edge of our solar system. It is the point where the solar wind, the constant stream of charged particles that pours off the sun and surrounds all 8 planets, all the asteroids, all the comets, everything we have ever called home, finally runs out of energy and stops. Beyond that point, there is no more sun. There is no more solar weather. There is nothing but the cold, ancient plasma of interstellar space, carrying particles from stars that lived and died before our own sun was born. And Voyager 1 is out there, right now, in that darkness, still talking to us. But here's where it gets complicated. For the past several years, the data coming back from Voyager 1 has been behaving in ways that do not match what scientists expected to find. And not matching expectations in deep space physics is not a minor thing. These models have been built and refined over decades. They have been tested against everything we know about plasma physics, magnetic fields, and the behavior of charged particles. When something in the real universe does not match what the model says should be there, one of two things is true. Either the model is wrong, or something is out there that we do not have a category for yet. In both cases, the implication is the same. We have been wrong about something fundamental. What Voyager 1's plasma wave system has been detecting since 2017 is a persistent narrowband emission, a kind of steady, faint hum in the fabric of interstellar plasma that should not, according to classical models, exist in the way it does. This is not a dramatic burst. This is not a single anomalous reading that could be dismissed as instrument error. This is a continuous signal, year after year, present in data stretching across more than 10 astronomical units of interstellar space. An astronomical unit is the distance from the Earth to the Sun, approximately 93 million miles. Voyager 1 has been detecting this unexplained emission across a distance of over 930 million miles of interstellar space. That is not a blip. That is a structure. And what it is revealing about the interstellar medium, the plasma that fills the space between stars, is forcing a complete re-examination of how that medium behaves. According to peer-reviewed research published in Nature Astronomy, the emission's persistence suggests that the interstellar medium is not the quiet, uniform void that earlier models described. It is turbulent. It has density fluctuations at scales ranging from meters to astronomical units. It is alive in a physical sense with motion and complexity that was previously invisible to us because we had never had an instrument inside it before. Voyager 1 is not just passing through interstellar space, it is mapping it. It is giving us a continuous real-time readout of a region of the universe that we have only ever theorized about from billions of miles away. And this is where everything changes, because the implications of what Voyager 1 is finding out there do not stay in the interstellar medium. They come back here. They affect how we understand the heliosphere, the bubble of solar wind that surrounds our solar system and protects every living thing on Earth from the full force of cosmic radiation. If the interstellar medium is more complex, more turbulent, more structured than we thought, then the boundary between it and our solar system is also more complex than we thought. And if that boundary is more complex, then the protection it provides is more variable, more dynamic, more sensitive to forces we are only beginning to map. Read that again. The shield that protects life on Earth is behaving differently than our models predicted. And the only instrument telling us this is a 48-year-old machine running on 4 watts of electrical power. Now add to this what happened in 2023 and 2024.
Let that sink in a second.
For 5 months, Voyager 1 went silent. Not completely silent. It was still transmitting. But what it was transmitting was gibberish, corrupted data, unreadable code. The engineering team at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory received signals from the spacecraft but could not decode what they meant for a mission that had been operating successfully for over 4 decades. This was a crisis unlike anything they had faced before. The cause, when they eventually identified it, was as humbling as it was astonishing. A single memory chip, measuring a fraction of an inch inside the spacecraft's flight data system, had deteriorated after nearly 50 years of exposure to cosmic radiation. One chip, one small piece of 1970s hardware, sitting 15 billion miles from Earth, had corrupted a portion of the software that Voyager 1 uses to format and transmit its data. And because there is no repair crew available in interstellar space, the engineers at JPL had to solve the problem remotely across a communication delay of over 22 hours each way. Think about what that engineering challenge actually looked like. You write a command, you send it. You wait 22 hours to find out if it arrived. You receive the response, you analyze it, you write the next command, you wait another 22 hours. Every single diagnostic step, every single software adjustment, every single test took 2 days just for the round-trip communication. The engineers spent months working through this process, carefully, methodically, with no margin for error. And in mid-2025, after one of the most extraordinary feats of long-distance engineering in human history, they succeeded. They rerouted the corrupted software around the damaged chip by dividing the affected code into sections and storing them in different locations in the spacecraft's memory. They rebuilt the operating logic of a computer 15 billion miles away through a 44-hour communication loop using programming languages developed in the 1970s. Voyager 1 came back online, and when it did, what it sent back was more data about those persistent, unexplained plasma oscillations, more evidence that the universe beyond our solar system is not what we thought it was. But there's another layer to this story that almost nobody is talking about, and it involves what Voyager 1 encountered before it went silent. When it crossed the heliopause in 2012 and entered interstellar space, its instruments detected something at the boundary that defied the predictions of every model that had been built to describe it. Scientists had theorized for decades that the edge of the solar system, the region where solar wind collides with interstellar plasma, would be a relatively cold, sparse transition zone. The numbers they had run, the simulations they had built, the theoretical frameworks they had constructed, all pointed to the same general picture: a gradual fading of solar influence, a slow blending of one environment into another. What Voyager 1 actually found was something radically different. The boundary was hot, extraordinarily hot. The particles at the heliopause were moving at nearly the speed of light, colliding with each other in the low-density environment, generating temperatures approaching 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Not in the sun, not in any star. At the edge of our solar system in what was supposed to be empty space. Scientists have described this region as a wall of fire. Not fire as we understand it, but an incredibly dense concentration of energetic charged degrees Fahrenheit. Ordinarily, as they had built, the theoretical frameworks they had constructed, all pointed to the same general picture: a gradual fading of solar influence, a slow blend.
This goes to show you all the methods that they put into the understanding of the Big Bang were wrong. Every single one. They didn't even theorize for the fact that there was energy moving at the speed of light, condensing, combusting, that created an area at the heliopause, or the extremity of our solar system, that created degrees over 54,000. Listen to 54,000, not 540 degrees. 54,000.
Blending of one environment into another. What Voyager 1 actually found was something radically different. The boundary was hot, extraordinarily hot. The particles at the heliopause were moving at nearly the speed of light, colliding with each other in the low-density environment, generating temperatures approaching 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Not in the sun, not in any star. At the edge of our solar system in what was supposed to be empty space. Scientists have described this region as a wall of fire. Not fire as we understand it, but an incredibly dense concentration of energetic charged particles, a cosmic heat wave at the very frontier of our celestial neighborhood. Here is what makes that discovery even more unsettling. The magnetic fields inside the heliopause and those in interstellar space beyond it were found to be surprisingly similar. For decades, scientists had predicted that crossing the heliopause would mean entering a dramatically different magnetic environment. The sun's magnetic field was supposed to be entirely contained within the heliosphere, and the galactic magnetic field beyond was supposed to be something completely different. What Voyager 1 found was that the two environments were, in some ways, magnetically connected. The sun's magnetic field lines are dragged outward by solar wind and compressed at the boundary, creating a zone where magnetic reconnection occurs, where field lines from different environments rearrange themselves and release enormous amounts of energy in the process. This was not in the models. This was not expected, and it has enormous implications for how we understand the relationship between our solar system and the galaxy surrounding it. What most people are not seeing is that each one of these discoveries builds on the last,
Whoa. That was crazy. Man. I don't even know what happened. It just totally kicked me out my own StreamYard. That was nuts. Well, we gonna back it up a little bit. One monkey don't stop no show, and definitely YouTube ain't gonna stop nothing. You dig what I'm saying? Salute to everybody. That's my boy right there, Casino, aka Milestone Thought. Salute you. Salute King. You dig what I'm talking about? Rain Shay up in the house. VP Man. Huh? My brother from another. You dig what I'm talking about? Malachi Maccabee, man. Salute to the gang, man. Love, life, balance, man. Y'all share this out. Thumb up the video. We just gonna get back to cooking. You dig what I'm saying? We just gonna get right back to cooking, because now we seeing that what science had thought for decades was in fact wrong. But that's the good part about science. Science is made to debunk itself. Right? It's supposed to keep testing and keep trying and until it becomes an objective reality. Right? Then it becomes scientific truth and fact. Right? But let's keep cooking, because what they thought was out there, every model, every theoretical model, every Big Bang situation was wrong.
Other in the low density environment, generating temperatures approaching 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Not in the sun, not in any star. At the edge of our solar system in what was supposed to be empty space. Scientists have described this region as a wall of fire. Not fire as we understand it, but an incredibly dense concentration of energetic charged particles, a cosmic heat wave at the very frontier of our celestial neighborhood. Here is what makes that discovery even more unsettling. The magnetic fields inside the heliopause and those in interstellar space beyond it were found to be surprisingly similar. For decades, scientists had predicted that crossing the heliopause would mean entering a dramatically different magnetic environment. The sun's magnetic field was supposed to be entirely contained within the heliosphere, and the galactic magnetic field beyond was supposed to be something completely different. What Voyager 1 found was that the two environments were, in some ways, magnetically connected. The sun's magnetic field lines are dragged outward by solar wind and compressed at the boundary, creating a zone where magnetic reconnection occurs, where field lines from different environments rearrange themselves and release enormous amounts of energy in the process. This was not in the models. This was not expected, and it has enormous implications for how we understand the relationship between our solar system and the galaxy surrounding it. What most people are not seeing is that each one of these discoveries builds on the last, and together they form a picture of the universe that is fundamentally more interconnected, more dynamic, and more surprising than the one we taught in textbooks. The solar system is not an island. It is not a sealed bubble drifting through empty space. It is an active participant in a galactic environment that pushes back, that has structure, that has turbulence, that has a magnetic personality of its own. And we only know this because of one spacecraft that was not supposed to survive long enough to reach the conversation. Now consider what is happening to Voyager 1 as it continues its journey in 2026. In April of this year, NASA made the painful decision to shut down one of its remaining scientific instruments, the Low Energy Charged Particles Experiment, known as the LECP, which had been operating almost without interruption since 1977. Nearly 49 years of continuous operation, and it had to be switched off, not because it stopped working, but because Voyager 1 is running out of power. The spacecraft is powered by 3 radioisotope thermoelectric generators, devices that convert heat from decaying plutonium-238 into electricity. At launch, these generators produced approximately 470 watts of power. Today, they produce roughly 250 watts. They lose about 4 watts every year. At some point in the early 2030s, the power output will drop below the minimum threshold needed to operate any of the remaining instruments, and Voyager 1 will go permanently silent. Of the 10 sets of instruments each Voyager spacecraft originally carried, 7 have already been shut off. The decisions about which instruments to turn off, and in what order, were not made impulsively. Years ago, the Voyager science and engineering teams sat together and planned a careful sequence of shutdowns designed to preserve as much scientific capability as possible for as long as possible. Each shutdown involves a trade-off that no textbook can fully prepare you for. Turning off a heater saves power, but risks a critical component freezing in the minus 270 degrees Celsius ambient temperature of interstellar space. Getting the balance wrong, even slightly, could end the mission prematurely. Every decision is made with the full weight of knowing that there is no second chance, no repair mission, no ability to reach out and fix anything that goes wrong. But even in this slow-dying Voyager 1 is finding ways to surprise us. NASA engineers are currently developing what they have internally called the Big Bang, an experimental procedure designed to squeeze additional power from the spacecraft's electrical system by adjusting how power is distributed across its remaining components. The procedure is being tested on Voyager 2 first, which has slightly more available power and is a little closer to Earth, making it a lower-risk candidate, with tests scheduled for May and June of 2026. If those tests succeed, the same procedure will be attempted on Voyager 1 no earlier than July. If it works, there's even a possibility that the LECP instrument that was just shut down could be switched back on. The team is not optimistic, but they are not giving up either. Because with Voyager 1, the history of giving up early has never aged well. There is something else approaching on the horizon, a milestone that no human-made object has ever reached before. On November 18th, 2026, at precisely 2:16 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, Voyager 1 will be exactly 1 light day from Earth. That means it will be 16.1 billion miles away, so far that a signal traveling at the speed of light takes a full 24 hours just to reach it. If you send a command to Voyager 1 at 8 in the morning on a Monday, you will not receive the spacecraft's response until Wednesday morning. The communication lag is now measured in days, not hours, and it will keep growing. Every hour, Voyager 1 travels approximately 38,000 miles deeper into interstellar space. There's no slowing down. There's no turning around. The laws of physics will not allow it. According to informed sources at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the Voyager mission will, by most current estimates, continue functioning into the early 2030s before the power supply drops below the minimum threshold required to operate any of its remaining instruments. After that, the spacecraft will not stop. It will not fall. There's nothing out there to fall toward. It will simply continue moving silently at 38,000 miles per hour into a darkness that has no end. And attached to its body, bolted onto the frame of this small dying machine, is the Golden Record, a gold-plated copper disc designed by a team led by Carl Sagan, containing greetings in 55 languages, the sounds of wind and rain and ocean waves and human laughter, 90 minutes of music from across every human civilization, scientific diagrams, and a map showing where Earth is located relative to nearby pulsars. A message to whoever or whatever might eventually find it millions or billions of years from now in some part of the galaxy we cannot yet imagine. That record will keep traveling after the instruments go dark, after the last signal dies, after the last engineer who ever worked on the Voyager mission has been gone for centuries. The record will keep going. And somewhere in that fact, in the image of this small machine, carrying the voices of every human culture, drifting silently through the space between stars, there is something that science alone cannot fully capture. But we are not done with what Voyager 1 is telling us right now, while it still has the power to speak. The persistent plasma waves it continues to detect in the interstellar medium are, according to researchers studying the data, providing the first continuous, steady measurement of the density of interstellar plasma ever recorded. Previously, scientists could only take point measurements, isolated snapshots of plasma density, triggered by specific events like shocks from solar coronal mass ejections traveling outward across the heliopause. Those snapshots were valuable, but they were scattered. They were like trying to understand the weather of a continent by checking the temperature once a year in a single city. What the new persistent emission from Voyager 1's plasma wave system is providing is something closer to a continuous weather map, a living, ongoing portrait of the interstellar medium as Voyager 1 moves through it. What that portrait is showing us is that the space between stars is not quiet. It is not the peaceful void of science fiction. It is a roiling, dynamic environment full of turbulence at every scale, from the kilometer level all the way up to distances measured in astronomical units. The density fluctuates, the plasma moves. There are structures in it, invisible architectures of charged particles and magnetic fields that extend across millions of miles, and that interact with the boundary of our solar system in ways we are only beginning to understand. The real story is that interstellar space has a personality. It has weather. It has geography. And we are only now, for the first time in human history, beginning to read its map. There is a question that sits at the center of all of this, and it is one that the scientific community has not yet answered. The persistent emission that Voyager 1 has been detecting since 2017 has two possible explanations, and researchers cannot yet determine which one is correct. The first is that the emission is caused by thermally excited plasma oscillations. essentially the natural vibration of plasma particles as they interact with their environment. This would be significant, but explainable within existing frameworks. The second possibility is something called quasi-thermal noise, a phenomenon that arises from the random thermal motion of electrons in a plasma, and that carries information about the plasma's density and temperature in a subtly different way. Distinguishing between these two mechanisms requires either new data from Voyager 1 itself or a future interstellar mission. A spacecraft designed specifically to follow in Voyager's path and study the interstellar medium with instruments built for exactly this purpose. No such mission currently exists. No such mission is currently funded, which means that right now, in 2026, the only instrument humanity has in interstellar space is a dying 48-year-old spacecraft held together by engineering ingenuity and the refusal of a small team of scientists at JPL to give up on it. And that spacecraft is sending back data that we cannot fully explain. Data about a region of the universe that directly affects the environment in which all life on Earth exists. Data that tells us the models we built to understand our place in the galaxy were, in important ways, wrong. What happens when Voyager 1 finally goes silent? The data stops. The map stops being drawn. The only real-time window we have ever had into interstellar space closes, and it closes permanently because there's nothing else out there to replace it. The next mission capable of reaching the heliopause and crossing into interstellar space, if such a mission were funded and launched today, would not arrive at that boundary for at least 25 years, which means there is a gap coming, a silence, a period of perhaps 3 decades or more during which humanity will have no instrument in interstellar space, no real-time data from the frontier, no way to continue the map that Voyager 1 has been drawing for us in the dark. And in that silence, the questions it has raised will continue to sit unanswered. What is generating the persistent plasma emission? What is the true structure of the interstellar turbulence beyond the heliopause? How does the magnetic reconnection at the boundary of our solar system actually work? And what does it mean for the long-term stability of the heliosphere that protects life on Earth? Is the interstellar medium consistent across the galaxy, or does it change dramatically as you move through different regions of it? Are there structures out there, magnetic highways, plasma currents, density gradients, that no model has yet predicted, and that a future spacecraft would find just as unexpectedly as Voyager 1 found the wall of fire at the heliopause? Nobody knows. And that is not a comfortable place to end. It is not supposed to be, because the universe has never been in the business of making us comfortable. It has always been in the business of being larger, stranger, and more extraordinary than we are capable of imagining from the inside. Voyager 1 is the proof of that. It was built in a decade before personal computers existed by engineers using slide rules and paper calculations to last 5 years and then fall silent. Instead, it became the farthest traveling object in human history, the first emissary to interstellar space, and the instrument that is right now, in 2026, sending us signals from a place we cannot reach, about a universe we do not yet fully understand. The signals keep coming. Faint, slowed by 23 hours of travel time, stretched across 15 billion miles of void. And in those signals, if you know how to read them, is a message that is not in any language Voyager's golden record contains. It is not in English or Mandarin or Sumerian. It is written in plasma waves and magnetic field data and density fluctuations. And what it says, if you translate it as carefully as the engineers at JPL have been translating it for nearly 50 years, is something like this. You have no idea what is out there, and you need to find out, because whatever is out there, that turbulent, hot, magnetically complex, inexplicably humming darkness at the edge of everything you have ever known, it is not waiting for you to be ready. It has been out there since before your son was born. It will be out there long after your son is gone. And for this one brief, extraordinary window in the history of your civilization, you have a machine in it, one machine, 4 watts of power, one chance to listen. What happens when that machine finally goes quiet is not a question about engineering. It is not a question about budget cycles or mission planning or orbital mechanics. It is a question about what kind of species you intend to be, whether you are the kind that listens to what the universe is trying to tell you, or the kind that lets the last signal fade into silence and calls it finished. The signal is still coming. The question is whether anyone is paying attention.
Create a gang is crazy. Boy, y'all better pay attention.
Where is the Creator? Why does he not speak? And man inquired of the earth, the rocks, and of all things, Who is this that hath made us? But they answered not. Then man said, the seen are but an illusion, the unseen is the real. And because he could not find the unseen, he was bewildered.
You, child of stardust, looked upon the stones and cried out, "Who formed me? Who hears me?" But the rocks held no answer. The wind passed you by, and the heavens remained silent. Yet silence is not absence, and hidden does not mean lost. The voice you seek is not in the thunder, but in the still breath between thoughts. Jehovih speaks in the longing itself, in the ache that asks the question. It is in your reaching that the Creator is already responding. The unanswered question is the door to remembrance.
Golden Gate shining, Golden Gate. Golden Gate shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain. Golden Gate shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain. Scriptures describe it with the towers of gold. Angels positioned where the gateways unfold. Trumpets announcing the arrival of souls. Guards at the entrance maintaining control. Crowds moving forward in obedient course. Names getting checked before crossing the doors. Peace is proclaimed while the soldiers remain. Still every entrance is locked with a chain. If nothing but goodness exists in the land, why are there armies with orders to stand? Why would a kingdom of infinite grace need golden gates at the edge of the place? If evil was banished beyond every star, why would a border be needed at all? Something about it is starting to show. Heaven might not be the freedom they told. Golden Gate shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain. Golden Gate shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain.
Somebody explain. Well, let's get into some of that explanation real quick. Let's get into some of that explanation real quick. Let's blow it up 1 second, y'all. Man, salute everybody for coming through, man. Y'all heard. No, I haven't heard about that engine radio. I haven't heard about that. Man, salute to everybody out there, man. Let me get this off the screen real quick. Trust me, if you here right now, you are a part of the most intelligent chat on YouTube or in the game, period. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all at the forefront of something that's massive. But the dope part about it is we was already told about it. We just didn't know. And something in that prior note said, excuse me, that hidden doesn't always mean lost. Right? And now that we know that the government itself, under the auspices of the son of Lincoln himself, and the brand new what would become your FBI, CIA, and the personal protection of the president, went to subjugate everybody who had Oahspe and literally was taking it off the shelves, right? They was burning places, raiding them, constantly surveilling, different people, and they even went down to Shalom. You dig what I'm saying? And from that point, it was all downhill. Right? From that point, it was all downhill. And that was in between 86, 88, 1886, 1888. 1888, because they were 6 years in, and that's when Lincoln's son had read what was put in Oahspe. And if anybody wants to, show the miraculous nature of what happened here in America when it comes to the freedom of the enslaved peoples, you dig what I'm saying? But it also it told it how it was, and put a black eye on your boy Lincoln, because he didn't give a damn neither. And that is what started the instigation of the United States government trying to suppress the text Oahspe, because it told the truth on Lincoln. But all darkness comes from darkness. Light comes from light. So we know that instigation wasn't from nothing good, no genuine source of love, light, and balance, or that law of one. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't from there. Right? So even when they tried to suppress it, it didn't work. Right? And if we're gonna be real and be logical, that might be one of the reasons, if JBN is a white man, right? Like they say, that may be one of the reasons why he put it in the hands of a white individual or a European individual, because they would be less scrutinized when it was time to create the printing process, because it was done a total different way. Oahspe was printed a total different way. It was off what is called electroplated, right? Very first to do it when it comes to a text. Also proving its authenticity even more. But these processes had to be thought up and created new at the time. And you dig what I'm saying? That the nature of it just being created is astounding. But now that we're in a time of modern science, and we have the fortunate stance in history to be able to look back in time with vision as 2020. You see what I'm saying? So we can look back on ancient texts that are revealing information and prove them scientifically, right? Through the scientific method, methodologically, like they like to say, with axioms, facts, figure, and what science has just proved. We just watched the video that what they thought space was, it's not. Right? And this whole video, right, is dedicated to a faithless brother who is now passed, named Hugh Rose. Hugh Rose. Salute the OG Hugh Rose, who was a engineer and scientist who had worked for Honeycutt and then NASA. He took the cosmonic understanding of motion and vortex and gave the information to NASA in 1984. They weren't listening until they were. And in the 90s, they start coming up with these think tanks to try to debunk what he was saying, and it was proven all true, and that it worked, and it changed how science looked at the world, and they came up with a whole science called the vortex sciences. Also explaining the movement, right, in quantum physics. That comes out of vortex science. Comes out of the think tanks of NASA, initiated by Hugh Rose, Faithist. Man, salute to that brother. You dig what I'm talking about? He was given the game or the cause of the original motion in the unified field theory way back in 1984. So the fact that science comes back in 2026 today and doubles down more on the structure of the universe, right? Just to back up Oahspe, shows that Oahspe is the primary for the universe, right? 1 second. Let's get up to here real quick, right? Go back to the top, right? All praise to every present creator, man. Y'all throw your thinking caps on. Let's just see what it's saying, right? Oahspe, primary of the universe. It is genuinely fascinating to see how the edge of the galaxy discoveries made by Voyager 1 line up with the unique vocabulary universal model presented in the 1882 Oahspe Bible, particularly its Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. When John Ballou Newborough channeled Oahspe in the late 19th century, mainstream science viewed interstellar space as an empty, stagnant vacuum. What? So science believed historically that space is a vacuum, right? So from live science, we ask, why is space a vacuum? Live science from 2020 says space is an almost perfect vacuum, full of cosmic voids. But see, science's own investigations have debunked the total space vacuum ideology. Voyager 1 and 2's analysis of constant density changes is objective proof that science must now rethink the theory of cosmic voids. But amazingly, science has proven methodologically the prophetic word of the little-known channel text Oahspe as primary for the cosmogony of the solar system. Oahspe, Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. Earth substance as such is equally soluble in eth or ether, right? Earth substance, physicality, rocks, dust, diamonds, gold, carbon, earth substance, things that make up things, right, is equally soluble in ether, right? And the great Etherian firmament is thus constituted, what? Being a dense solution of corpore. It's not void, right? Most of Etheria, now Etheria is interstellar space outside of our atmosphere, right? What we must understand is that our atmosphere extends past our moon, and our moon orbits within our atmosphere. That was first revealed in Oahspe, 1882. Science didn't prove that till 2019. Earth substance as such is equally soluble in ether, and the great Ethereal firmament, the water above, is thus constituted, being a dense solution of corpore, or physical material. Most of Etheria, interstellar space, is transparent, but in some places it's translucent, and in others opaque. Here in interstellar space, listen, y'all, is found iron, copper, granite, water, lead, clay, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, and various other kinds of corporeal substances as known on the earth. And besides these, millions of other things not known on the earth. And ether, the space outside of our atmosphere, holds them in solution. Why is it solution? We're going to get into that. And the ether holds them in solution. Even, listening, y'all, in the same way that the air holds the substance of clouds. Ether holds corporeal materia the same way that air holds the substance of clouds, which is water, right, in solution. And some clouds are so rarefied as to be imperceptible, or these so-called cosmic voids, while others are opaque and even black. So are the comparative conditions in Etheria, showing to prove that what science believes is void is in fact imperceptible and transparent, and reaffirming the scientific reality that there is no such thing as nothing. Let that sink in a second. Oahspe even names these comparative densities, these conditions in interstellar space, as Aja, right? Aja, which is semi-dark. I want to show y'all this. You can see this with your eye. Aja is semi-dark. Ji is semi-light. And nebula is nebulous corporeal material, the things that make up planets, dust, rocks, water, whatever. That's nebulous corporeal material. That is called nebula. So I wanted to show y'all in real time. You see these dark areas, right? Remember, most of the area or interstellar space is transparent. So what you're actually looking through a medium or a substance, right? We understand it as atmosphere, right? But you can't see it. You're seeing what's behind it and what's caught up in it. Aja, right, is the semi-dark stuff. You see this stuff that look brown and black and blue and all this stuff. That stuff is semi-dark material called Aja. You see the light material? See this material that's lighter down here? That is called semi-light, or Ji. And you see the planets? See the planets? That is called nebula. The moons, heavenly bodies are all made up of nebulous material. Right? Oahspe names them what you're seeing in the sky in real time. Voyager is now proving what Oahspe was saying in 1882. Showing its primary nature. Now, in the video The video highlights how Voyager 1 is completely upended that classical view, revealing a complex, energetic, and vibrating medium that feels remarkably like Oahspe's description of the universe. Here's a comprehensive layout showing exactly how these new scientific discoveries match up with what's in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy of Oahspe, right? And this is the all-pervading substance. They call it plasma, and we don't deny it. There is a plasma, right? But that's not what they're measuring, right? That's just what they're calling it. Plasma is actually a little something different, and even plasma must have and is penetrated, permeated with ether inside and out. All things are, right? So plasma even exists in ether. Remember, they're trying to explain what they seeing. Oahspe already explained it. They just now recognizing it with science. Huh? 143 years later. It says the all-pervading substance, plasma versus the solution ether. In the video, scientists note that Voyager 1 is detecting a constant faint hum across more than 930 million miles of interstellar space. This hum is caused by a continuous oscillations. Continuous oscillations. We know what Oahspe say about oscillations, right? That's one of the movements of the Earth, even in itself. But we're seeing it oscillates even on a grander scale. This hum is caused by continuous oscillations in the interstellar plasma, a soup of charged particles, right? That they thought was just in the solar system, right? Now that they finding it's at the border where they thought there shouldn't be anything. It's a whole bunch of something, right? Oahspe calls this all-pervading cosmic fluid ether or eth, explicitly stating that the space between worlds is not empty, but is a dense solution capable of carrying currents, waves, and condensing into physical matter, or what is called corpor. And here is the heliosphere right here. Voyager and science is proving exactly what Oahspe was stating. Let's get a good look at it so we can always get a good visual on it. Here's the heliosphere. Now I want y'all to see this is at the termination of the helioshock right here. Right here, if you look in the middle, that's our whole solar system. And Voyager 1 and 2 have both passed outside the solar system and out where they thought this was going to be cold, deep, dark space. They entered the area almost 54,000 degrees. What Oahspe was telling y'all in 1882. Right? That's the heliosphere passing through the structured interstellar medium. Right? How does this line up? Right? Modern science and Voyager 1's findings, right, is going to be on the left, and Oahspe is going to be on the right. Right? This interstellar plasma, right, that they talking about, a vast active medium. This is what they proven. A vast active medium of charged particles filling the interstellar void, It has a density. Hold on, let me make sure my thing is on. Okay. It has density fluctuations and acts like an interconnected physical sea. Huh? This is what they found, y'all. Watch this. Book of Cosmogony. Hold on. My bad. My bad. Book of Cosmogony, chapter 2, right? 2 and 3. And the great Etherian firmament is thus constituted what? Being a dense solution, of corpore, right? Or physical material, right? Watch this. What is solution? Solution is a liquid mixture in which the minor component, the solute, or the corporeal, is uniformly distributed within the major component, the solvent, or the ether. That's from Oxford. See how I was putting it together? Now, they talk about the persistent hum, constant plasma, wave oscillations frequently. And now I want y'all to know, listen, these plasma wave oscillations, they frequently interact with vortices, vibrating through deep space, proving space has its own continuous ambient acoustic signature. But what are oscillating waves? Because that keeps coming up. What is an oscillating wave? Oscillating waves are rhythmic disturbances or vibrations that transfer energy through a medium, like water, like air, or a solid. But remember, we're talking about space. Where is a medium like water? Where is a medium like air? Is there a medium like water and air and solid material in interstellar space? We just read it in Oahspe that it was. Now science is proving that it's there. Why are there oscillating waves? Because there are vortices. An oscillating wave, many of them can start vortices, but vortices also produce oscillating waves. Let that sink in. Ain't supposed to be no water out there in space. That ain't what they taught us. Think. Just sink in for a minute. Oscillating waves are rhythmic disturbances or vibrations that transfer through energy through a medium, like water, air, or a solid, in a straight or spreading path, without the medium, listen, itself permanently moving. Examples would be a sound wave, ocean surface waves, or light waves. Oahspe explains it as vortexian currents. Oahspe explains that as vortexia, cosmogony, chapter 1 through 19, from the notes 1586. Watch this. Science, once vortexia, right? Explaining the oscillating waves and the vortexia. Watch this. In the energy. Watch this. Once vortexia is created through the vortex, vortexia, or the energy, right? Or vortexia is, roughly speaking, what science calls energy. The motion, right? Once vortexia or energy is created through the vortex, motion, spiraling motion. That vortexia, the energy of motion, like electricity, like magnetism, roughly speaking, is what science calls energy. Accordingly, vortexian current is the flow of energy. Oahspe is breaking this down in 1882. How? What science calls energy. Accordingly, vortexian current is the flow of energy, whereas electrical current is the flow of electric charges, typically electrons. Mind you, hold on, we're going to keep reading. The relationship between the two, right, is that when a current of vortexia is strong enough to carry electrons or ions along in a stream of vortexia, such current is called an electric current. Thus, electricity is simply one form of manifestation of vortexia. Now, I want y'all to keep in mind that electrons were not discovered corporeally to 1897. That is 15 years after Oahspe told you that they exist. Huh? Electrons were not discovered corporeally till 1897. 15 years after Oahspe was published. And in 1925, under the quantum mechanics theory, electrons were said to be what? Wave-like particles or oscillating waves. Huh? 43 years before you could prove it in 1925, 15 years before you knew they existed, Oahspe was already demonstrating its primacy for the universe. What about the wall of fire versus the outer vortex limits, right? We just comparing what science found to what Oahspe was saying hundreds of years ago, over 140 years ago. The wall of fire versus the outer limit vortex, right? The outer vortex limits. One of Voyager 1's most shocking discoveries at the heliopause, or the boundary where the solar wind meets interstellar space, was temperature. Classical models predicted a cold, gradual fading transition. Instead, Voyager 1 hit a region where particles collide at near light speeds, generating an intense thermal zone reaching 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. What they told you is hot. I mean, cold. Is it cold? I think so. But I think also parts of it and regions of it are intensely hot. How though? That's only explained in Oahspe. You have to be there, to know how. Now, don't it make sense that a God is not saying what Oahspe is saying? The creator, who would have been the only thing there who could have told you how it happened, would have had to express this book. Now, that makes sense, that if the thing that knows everything starts expressing itself through books, that through science and objective reality, you should be able to back up what the text is saying. That should be a simple thing for a creator. It was. He put it in Oahspe. We just hard-headed. We make it harder on ourselves than it gotta be. And I'm saying societally. Not even that we just punishing ourselves, because everybody is not with that. Everybody know we ain't all the problem. This is systemic oppression, man. Salute my sister Misha too, man. Y'all send her some love and light out there, man, because it get tough out there. Scientists have casually dubbed this a wall of fire. I just want to go back and read that. They thought it was going to be a cold, gradual fading transition. Instead, Voyager 1 hit a region where particles collide at near light speeds, generating an intense thermal zone reaching 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists have casually dubbed this a wall of fire. Oahspe explicitly describes how a planetary or solar system is bound by an independent swirling bubble called a vortex. According to the Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, heat and light are not things of their own, but results of motion. Different than what science says. Remember, we're at the cutting edge of science. We're not bowing down to what incorrect men have said for hundreds of years and just acquiescing again into their ignorance or to their wrongness, their incorrectness. We're not acquiescing. Remember, we're at the cutting edge or the forefront of science. We're changing it. Yeah. So what we saying, no, the darkness ain't gonna agree with. But we explaining you in Oahspe, and the creator is explaining in a text channel, for all you haters, from a white boy from Ohio. I gotta ask you a question. Just use your logic. Do you think a white boy knew this from Cleveland, Ohio? He from right down there. Y'all believe a white boy in 1882 actually knew this? The dope part about JBN, and salute the OG, is that he said he didn't know this. So however you feel about it, you can be mad about it all you want to. Your God can't whoop what he's saying, and you can't disprove it. He's saying he didn't know it, and it comes from an intelligence other than his. Debunk that. Because science is saying what Oahspe say. That science have casually dubbed this a wall of fire. Oahspe explicitly describes how a planetary and solar system is bound by an independent swirling bubble called a vortex. According to the Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, heat and light are not things of their own, but results of motion. They are created by the friction of these vortical boundaries grinding against the outer Ethereal currents. Watch this. Okay. Voyager hit the high energetic boundary layer at the heliopause. How did Oahspe know this in 1882? Use your common sense. Do you think a dentist, not that it mattered that he a white boy, but I'm just saying a white boy European dentist, right? Knew this in 1880. He just made it up, Why he ain't say he just made it up? Because you can put all that on him in an imaginary world where nothing is real and you're just making it up. He's saying he ain't make it up. He just compiled it. It just came through him. And if a thing, just like all spiritual books, right, that come from places you can't objectively see, there had to be objective now. There had to be a bridge to the world. Whether it's the mind of a man, it's going to come through a man. Whether he thinks it out of the unseen parts of his mind, or it comes from the spiritual world, there has to be a bridge into the reality of real objectivity. And that is always a man. So we can't, how else would a book be compiled if there was no compiler and then producer, right? But what y'all got to explain is how Oahspe knew this in 1882. Modern science findings through Voyager 1 is that the heliopause, or the wall of fire, is an unexpected high velocity 54,000 degree boundary layer of compressed particles and massive friction at the absolute edge of the solar system. Watch this. Let's go back up a little bit. Right? Now, this is from the Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. Shinva, or vertical friction. Oahspe notes that where the outer edge of an atmospheric vortex meets the open road of Etheria, intense friction, heat, and manifestation of primal forces occur due to opposing currents. Oahspe glossary. Shinva is the boundary between the rotating atmosphere of the Earth and the ether beyond. Oahspe, primary source to the universe. What about the interconnected magnetic fields? The magnetic lines from the sun drag outward and seamlessly connect and reconnect with the galactic magnetic field at the border. Oahspe explains that as the great serpent, or the lines of vortexia. Remember, just like you can't see a tornado, you see what it carries. The same with the vortex of our sun and the lesser vortex of our planet, which is subjugated to the larger one of the sun. It carries, we carry around the sun, but we're moved in an orbit vertically. Oahspe is telling us this in 1882 before it was even known. Remember, they just figured this out in 2026. That magnetic lines from the sun drag outward seamlessly, connect and reconnect with the galactic magnetic field at the border. They just figured that out in the end of 2025 and at the beginning of 2026. They experienced the high flame 14 years before that in 2012. They just didn't know how to explain it till 2025. Oahspe in 1882 gave up the great serpent, or the lines of vortexia. Oahspe illustrates that all solar systems travel like a serpent along greater roads of Etherian currents, locked into position by invisible lines of vertical flow. Now, mind you, this is not correct either, but this is the close visual that we have. Now, you got to take into the account of the wave-like pattern of the sun too. It dips and rises above the ecliptic. It's doing this motion also, but it rises. It oscillates also. It rises and falls like a wave, rising like a wave. while it's doing this forward motion. Huh? All while moving towards Hercules. While Hercules is spinning around our northern star. Cycles upon cycles upon cycles. This is explained as the Tao Sang, or the great serpent, our solar phalanx. That is the sun family, right? The planets that travel along with the sun. How are they locked into place? Cosmo here to tell y'all ain't no such thing as gravity. And the same thing that you call in electricity, magnetism, and light is the same thing that you call gravity. Just acting upon different parts of the substance. Ooh, it's all one force. Y'all want law? Well, there go the law of one. The Creator said, let a sign be before men, so that they may know that I shield my works with my own hand. Hold on, let me go back up here and show you. I shield my works. A thing inside of a thing inside of a thing. It's look at that. Right? Because you would have got past here in outside of our solar system and thought you were in interstellar space. But no. You still in the helio sheath. Then to get past that, you got to leave the heliopause. What'd he say? What'd he say? Let a sign be before man, so that they know that I shield my work with my own hand. And it was so, for he made a shield for every one of the living creatures on earth, and in the waters, and in the air, even the kernel of wheat and the flesh of the nut he encompassed with a hardy shell, so that man could know that he shielded all his works on their exterior. And now in Cosmon, starting in 1848, and now in Cosmon, current time 2026, the time has come to reveal the vortex of the solar phalanx. This is why the planets orbit. Why it moves up and down. It oscillates. Why it's still moving forward, yet spinning. You don't see any of that the same way you don't see the tornado, right? You don't see the tornado, you see the substance in the tornado moving. It's the same thing with our solar system moving throughout the galaxy. And now, in Cosmon, the time has come to reveal the vortex of the solar phalanx, so that man can perceive the glory and wisdom of his works. An external shield he made for all except man. An external shield he made for all except man. But man alone he made to be shielded by the spirit within him. This is the layout of the universal agreement, right? To visualize how both sources can view the architecture of space, consider this conceptual structural layout. The core or the sun's planetary bodies. Science calls this dense atomic matter, right? Science calls this atomic matter. Oahspe calls this corpor, or physical. What's physical? Matter condensed out of the ether via the crushing inward pressure of a vortex, which y'all mistakenly call gravity. Gravity is not a pull towards the center of the earth. It is a push from its extremities. How else could you get pounds per square inch or pressure per square inch if pressure is not being applied from its extremities? Y'all gotta let that sink in for a minute. How can there be pounds and pressure per square inch, PSI, if gravity is pulling and not pushing? Right? Because we have acquiesced in the misunderstandings and sometimes blatant lies and guesses of the ancients, of our forefathers. We just uncritically went with it and believed it. Now Oahspe coming to kick over the buildings like Snoop Dogg and them came through and crushed the buildings. You dig what I'm talking about? Matter is condensed out of ether via the crushing inward pressure of vortex, and this is why a lot of people are mistakenly saying we're in the matrix. It's illusionary. It's not real. And I get their misunderstanding, because in between atoms, fundamental, there is what they call energy that is pushing towards the extremities, while there is an energetic force also entering, causing the spin of all atoms. They don't know where that comes from. Y'all do now. This is why I say y'all the most intelligent, because the initial force, and this helps to solve the theory of thermodynamics when they say an object in motion tends to stay in motion, right, until acted upon by outside force. You ain't answer how it got in motion. They also say an object that is at rest tends to stay at rest until acted upon by outside forces to create the motion, right? You still ain't told us what created the initial motion from rest. Oahspe calls it vortex. Layout of the universe agrees. Yeah? It gotta be there to be. I'm just telling you. I didn't know none of this either. I had to learn it all myself too. And relearn it because they taught us wrong at first, remember? They were acquiescing in the incorrectness. Okay? They were wrong. Oahspe, glossary, corpor, right, is whatever has length, breadth, and thickness and is perceptible to corporeal sight, hearing, and feeling. And if I'm not mistaken, that is called reality. That is called the quote unquote whole third dimension. If it got length, breadth, and thickness, the three-dimensional world, that's what we're supposed to be in right now, right? Well, then that's reality. Oahspe explains corpor as reality, the things you can see, physical material, whatever has length, breadth, and thickness. Now things can start to be timed and measured. Because why? They're perceptible. Whatever has length, breadth, whatever has 3 dimensions, and is perceptible to corporeal sight, hearing, and feeling. The extreme opposite, right, of this thing in reality, right? The extreme opposite condition from ether, or solution or rarefication. Corpore is the extreme opposite, a thing that can be seen, perceptible, you can hear it, you can feel it, it's real, right? To a thing that is the extreme opposite, no less real, but its condition is rarefied or in solution. It's not corporeal, right? It's corporeal, but it's not corporeal because it's not visible. Oahspe dropping this heat in 1882. Tell me how you got it. I don't think JBN knew this. JBN said he didn't know it. I'm going to just double down with the OG. He said he ain't know it. I'm going to say he ain't know it. Right? So, where it come from? Exactly where it said it came from. The creator. Ain't no mistaking. We clear over here. We understand. Right? Y'all spooked out. Science got you spooky. We've been understanding this since way back, being way back. We sharing it with y'all. Science just doubling down on what Cosmon say, on what Daryl Cosmon say, on what Malachi Maccabee say, on what Selah Shalom say, on what the Creator Gang say. But most importantly, all truth and light backs up nothing but what Jaja say. Y'all gonna have to just deal with the fact that science backs up everything old Oahspe say. Watch this. The Earth vortex, or the quote-unquote the heliosphere. Y'all ain't know nothing about no heliosphere. Before old Oahspe told you. Science views this as a protective magnetic bubble. What he say? What he say? What? So that man may know. So let a sign be before man, so that he may know that I shield my work in my hand, with my own hand. And it was so. For he made a shield for every living creature on the earth and in the waters in the air. Right? A shield. And now in Cosmon, right? And now in Cosmon, right here. Where am I? Now in Cosmon, the time has come to reveal the vortex of the solar phalanx. He said, so that man may perceive the glorious window. I made a what? An external shield. An external shield he made for all except man. What he say? Watch this. Science views this as a protective magnetic bubble carved out by solar wind. Oahspe defines this perfectly as atmosphere, the system's local planetary vortex. which shields the internal worlds from the raw potency of deep space and UV light. I ain't making up none of this. How will Oahspe know? Since y'all think it came from JBN, right? How he know? If y'all think it came from JBN, what you admitting is that the white boy is smarter than your God is. Because your God didn't know that the heliopause was there. Checkmate. Check, please. Check, please. Huh? Your God just said he made the sun and the moon. He ain't tell you how. Oahspe did. See, you would have had to have been there at the creation of the sun and the earth and everything else to actually explain it. Would be a simple thing for a creator to do. But y'all didn't know, and what you won't know until you read it, is that it was already been done in 1882 from a dentist. There's a whole sink on your porch. Let that thing in. Let that sink in. Right? Science calls this dense atomic matter, right? Oahspe calls this corpora, right? Here we go. The boundary or the heliopause wall of fire. Science discovers a high energy, high friction, magnetically active wall in deep space. Oahspe defines this as the outer ring of the C vortex or the chief or sun vortex, where the local spinning system collides with the vast, uninhibited currents of the outer universe. Oahspe was explaining this in 1882. How? By the way, this is your solar system. It's inside of a thing that's inside of a thing. And mind you, notice how it looks. Doesn't it look like a womb? Way down in here is life. In this area, science now calls the Goldilocks area, or the perfect area where there should be life. We find Earth. They try to say it's coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that Oahspe calls our atmosphere a womb. That birthed the earth, that birthed man. How did it know? Book of Fragopity, 18:4. The outer extreme of this sea or this solar system, the nebula, the material, the rock-like, is in constant waves where the vortices play, condensing and bursting. Condensing and bursting, that means the force is centripetal and centrifugal. This is the energetic force that they're trying to explain. Oahspe dropping that in 1882, proving it's primary for the universe. The nebula is in constant waves where the vortices play, condensing and condensing and bursting, like whirlwinds on the earth or corporeal oceans, right? What about the deep space or this interstellar medium. Science discovers a turbulent, structurally complex humming ocean. Notice they keep calling it like water. Oahspe calls it a sea. Compares it to a corporeal ocean. Science, right, calls this a turbulent, structurally complex humming ocean of plasma. Oahspe calls this etheria, the space beyond the atmosphere. Right? Oahspe calls this etheria a magnificent fluid sea, carrying immense potential energy, density shifts, and cosmic structures called Jaya, Aja, and Nebula. Remember, it showed you what it's made of. Here it is again. The dark material, you see the dark stuff? That's Jaya. See the lighter material that's giving off this little soft light down here, this white, mixed in with this dark? That semi-light is called Jaya. And you see the material, the substance, the dust, the rock, the planet, the stars. That's Nebula. Oahspe is dropping this with, and these are pictures from James Webb Telescope, right? And don't let people say, "Oh, they're computer-generated images." And show me an image that ain't computer-generated. Show me one that ain't. Then you'll be saying something. Show me an image that ain't computer-generated. Don't let them fool you with their ignorance. We looking at it. And it's explained. And then pointed at objectively. They can't do that. Science backs up Oahspe. Question. Right? Why does Oahspe state our interstellar space acts as a sea or a large body of water? Why does Oahspe state our interstellar space acts as a sea or a large body of water? The answer is hydrogen. Remember, hydrogen is a gas, right? But it turns into liquid when you freeze it. So under standard temperature, it's from Wiki, under standard temperature and pressure, right? Where's pressure coming from with gravity? If it's pulling. We measure that as horsepower, not pressure. Something has to be pushing. It ain't explained where the pushing is coming from. But understand, under standard temperature and pressure, hydrogen is a colorless and odorless gas. It only turns into a liquid at extremely freezing cryogenic temperatures below negative 423 degrees Fahrenheit. So, hydrogen, right, turns into a liquid only when it drops below negative 423 degrees Fahrenheit, right? And that may be confusing, right? Till you understand the average temperature in space, right? The baseline or average temperature of interstellar space is approximately 2.7 Kelvin, or about 55 degrees below zero. This cold background temperature is maintained by what science calls the cosmic microwave background. So if hydrogen So, Oahspe refers to our solar system and interstellar space as a sea because hydrogen, which is 75% of all corporeal material in not only space but in the universe, is not gaseous, right? That hydrogen is not gaseous, but liquid because of the intense cold. Remember, 454, negative 454 is lower than negative 423. So the average temperature of space is cold enough to turn liquid hydrogen gas, right, into liquid. Oahspe even adds critical context to even biblical passages because this is a perfect example, right, of how you separate the waters above from the waters below, correct? That's Genesis 1 and 7. Temperature. And remember, you got to remember, liquid hydrogen is the basis for water. Question. Does it now make more sense why their spacesuits look exactly like diving suits? Is NASA holding something back? Is somebody maybe not telling you the whole truth? Does it make more sense? I'm just asking. Does it make more sense why their spacesuits look exactly like diving suits? I want y'all to let that sink in, right? On a note, right? A note on the solution ether. In Oahspe, everything we consider a solid object is merely corporeal and etheric substance. When Voyager 1 measures changes in the density of interstellar plasma, it is effectively measuring what Oahspe described as the varying thicknesses, Jaya Nebula, of the etheric solutions that our solar system drifts through over thousands of years. Oahspe, Book of the Creator, 2, 8 through 9, of 3 degrees of density. Of 3 degrees of density. This is what your boy was also Tesla was trying to get to y'all when it explained to y'all on the 3 to 6 to 9. The 3 degrees of density, I created them, and I commanded man to name them, and one he called Jaya, and one he called Aja, and the other he called Nebula. Oahspe glossary, right? Ether, the solvent of corporeal, as water, listen, the solvent of anything in third dimensional reality. As water, listen, ether, as water is the solvent of salt. So is ether the solvent of corporeal or physical material, of which, listen, of which hydrogen. They didn't even have an agreed upon elemental chart at this time in 1882. Ooh-wee. The solvent of corporeal, as water is the solvent of salt, so is ether the solvent of corporeal substance, right? So just like the salt becomes transparent, right? in a cup of water. For instance, you put 2 tablespoons of salt in a cup of water, you give it motion, it becomes transparent, invisible. You can see through it. That doesn't mean that there's not 2 cups of salt, 2 tablespoons of salt in that water. Just because you can't see it, it's still there. And if you evaporate the medium or the solvent, the water, off, the salt will still be in the cup. It was just sublimated in the solution. The same way space makes corporeal material, right, translucent. And this is why, because hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, that the sky looks dark blue, indigo, black. Because these are the colors given off by hydrogen, dark blue. Ether is the solvent of corporeal. As water is the solvent of salt, so is ether the solvent of corporeal substance, of which what? Hydrogen is one of the most sublimated. Well, etheria is beyond the atmosphere, the great firmament. Remember, we're giving context to stuff like biblical narrative. And shout out to the brother Nathaniel, the monster God of the Bible. Obviously, right? Where it aligns with what is real and what is put forth in Oahspe, we will cherry pick it and use it to our benefit to help the world, because we must be able to meet people where they at. Many people are at Bible. And they're comfortable being there. It's cool, right? But once you get so comfortable, then what? Once you've mastered it, then what? Oahspe is giving these greater clues and understanding that beyond the atmosphere, the great firmament, where is situated the higher heavens, this is what Oahspe calls etheria. But now, watch this, astoundingly, in 2026, science backs up the claims of Oahspe, made in 1882. The question then becomes simple, right? Is hydrogen one of the most abundant elements? That's all we got to see, right? Right? It just said that hydrogen is the most sublimated. Well, if it's going to be the most sublimated, it's better be, or right at, got to be at the top. It better be. Let's see what it says. Right? So we asked the question, what is the most abundant element in the universe? Remember, it didn't have a periodic table that they agreed upon. You were still missing about 34 characters. We found them today. But Oahspe told you there's millions out there that you don't know. But the question is simple. Is hydrogen one of the most abundant elements in the universe? Right? Yes. Or what is the most abundant? Right? Let's get specific. Not is it one of them? Is it? Right? Is hydrogen one of the most abundant elements? And what is the most abundant element in the universe? It is hydrogen. Is the most abundant element in the universe, making up approximately 75% of the cosmos by elemental mass. This is from study.com. Now, keep in mind, Oahspe revealed this information 43 years before science became aware in 1925, proving objectively and chronologically that Oahspe is primary for the universe. Huh? Remember that hydrogen, all that makes up 75% of the universe, is liquid. That's why Oahspe and science doubles down and backs up Oahspe and calls it a turbulent ocean or sea. Interesting words used 144 years apart to explain a thing that science theorized was one way and was proven to be wrong. Only the creator is safe. That's what we're showing. Only the creator knows, because he was the only one there. God wouldn't even know this. God would have had to get told this. Woo. God ain't old enough. Let that sink in. God ain't old enough to know. Proving objectively and chronologically that Oahspe is primary for the universe. Now, look, the video concludes that we must completely rewrite the textbooks. We're not sitting here regurgitating what y'all been thought was already wrong. We at the cutting edge of this. So no, we ain't gonna agree. Right? But you better not bring nothing crazy to Cosmon with it, because boy, you're gonna get exposed. That you're just acquiescing into the ignorance of men before you, regurgitating them, right? Adding your own little salt and paprika words and say you're a scholar and a scientist. What science have you done? What is this supposed science? Where do you keep it? Hope you're not trying to say a car is science, a ship is science. No. The sundial is more scientific than a watch. The video concludes that we must completely rewrite the textbooks. But who writes the textbooks? Who they inspired by matters. They're inspired by the people of light. The people who are saying what they're saying because they want it to be right and good. The people who are objectively proving what the creator say and unraveling the creator and the mystery of all creation. Those are the people. You are going to rewrite the textbooks. You are the only people with the information. Science don't agree with you if you agree with this. But now science does agree. Or I would say the world view doesn't agree with Oahspe, but science does agree with Oahspe. Ooh-wee. Objectivity and science on the same side. Don't they call that metallurgical naturalism? They got a whole science of that. It's called ontology. Woo. And that's just the pigeonhole view. Yeah. But it all backs up Oahspe. It's all science does. And until you get on the train yourself, you ain't gonna know. I can just keep showing you this, and you can believe that I'm right, even though I am. You can just believe that the fire hot. That's cool. And if that's good enough for you, cool. But then you can go into it and read it for yourself and learn. God damn, this nigga Cosmo, we wasn't lying a bit. We must completely rewrite the textbooks because we incorrectly modeled interstellar space as a quiet, empty vacuum when Oahspe was telling you it was dynamic 144 years ago. Woo, that 144 hitting like a brick. Now, in doing so, modern astrophysics has taken a massive step toward the exact framework laid down in Oahspe over 140 years ago. Space is alive. Highly structured, fluidic, and deeply interconnected, and I would also say harmonious and mathematic. And now science and reality backs up Oahspe's primacy. As science and reality has always backed up objective truth. I'm going to read that again. And now science and reality backs up Oahspe's primacy. As science and reality has always backed up objective proof. Now, this show, as I said, is dedicated to Hugh Rose, who was trying to bring this light to the world almost 50 years ago. But this is also dedicated to those who are unafraid to walk into their highest light and walk by it. Man, salute to the Creator Gang, man. Love, light, balance out there to everybody, man. That's the lesson for the day. You dig what I'm saying? That's the lesson for the day. I'll drop the link in the chat. Anybody want to come in? If y'all don't want to come in, we're going to go ahead and end it real quick. But hold on. Let me throw something on real quick. I'm going to go grab me something to drink real quick. Hold on. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm going to go grab me a little something real quick, man. If y'all want to hit the link, come on in. You dig what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. Let me get this thing going.
Prophets described it as cities of light, kingdoms suspended in heavenly height. Crowds gather close where the rulers remain. Thrones and dominions declaring their names. Soldiers assembled along every wall. Weapons prepared if the trumpet is called. Marches and banners that circle the throne. Armies protecting the ruler alone. Kingdoms divided by borders of flame. Gods in the heavens competing for reign. Watchmen observing the regions beyond. Anything moves, the kingdoms respond. If heaven is peaceful and nothing can hide, why would an army be standing outside? Why would a ruler need sentries and gates unless there is war in the heavenly states? Golden gates shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain. Golden gates shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain. Oahspe revealed how the heavens were made. Gods built dominions where spirits were caged. Souls that believed they were rising in grace never could see they were sealed in a place. Leaders appearing as radiant guides, quietly ruling the souls at their side. Borders surrounding the luminous plane, holding the multitudes under its claim. Gates regulating the movement of souls. Who can approach and who never can go? Crowds celebrating the promise they heard, not recognizing the trap in the words. Ages could pass in the comfort they know, praising the rulers who never let go. Look at the gates and the meaning appears. Prison disguised as a heavenly sphere. Golden gates shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain. Golden gates shining, but the questions remain. Eyes wide shut as they praise in the name. If heaven is perfect, why the locks on the frame? Prison or paradise? Somebody explain. Golden gates, golden gates, golden gates, golden gates. Golden Gates, Golden Gates, Golden Gates, Golden Gates, Golden Gates, Golden Gates, Golden Gates. Golden Gates, Golden Gates, Golden Gates.
Prince Judah Vaughn. What's the word, Jelly Bird? What's going on, man? You up in here?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, bro.
Salute, peace, peace, love, light, and balance to the faithless family, man. Salute, big brother. Thank you for that lesson, John. That was inspiring and informational, to say the least. You know,
man, it's crazy, man. I'll be seeing all this stuff that Oahspe be mentioning. You dig what I'm saying? And throwing out there, man. And it's hard to wrap your mind around it, but then it becomes mind blowing when science proves exactly what Oahspe is saying in real time, objectively.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, man. It make it easy to comprehend it. See?
You got to echo in back. Yeah, you got something on.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. It sounds perfect. It was echoing me, so it's probably like TV.
I have my speakers on here.
Oh man, what's going on, man? I see the gang up in here, man. See the gang up in here, man. Salute to the creative gang, man. To those who don't know, gang is an acronym, right? Meaning gods and Nirvanian goddesses, goddesses and Nirvanian gods.
Mm-hmm. Salute to everybody, man. Love to the gang, man. Y'all don't even understand. Light years ahead of everybody. You know, I love being ahead of the game, and Oahspe definitely puts you in that frame. On the winning team, Creator is undefeated. So,
it's crazy. You dig what I'm saying? I'll be just looking back, on a lot of this information, and it's so new. You know what I mean? Cutting edge. You dig what I'm saying? It's really changing the game and the way we understand it. But to understand it, your father was at the forefront of it all, and he revealed it all. Right? He didn't hold nothing back. He didn't.
Right.
And then he gave it in a way that was simple. That even though it's a very complex thing, if I gave that same lecture to a bunch of 8 or 9-year-olds, they could understand that.
I wish more 9 and 10-year-olds was listening to your information, because they definitely can catch it, especially as they grow and learn more information. It's going to simplify even more.
Yeah, all in due time. All in due time. You dig what I'm talking about? So, I understand they be shout out to the YouTube guys. They be of course, they be shadow banning your boy.
Oh yeah.
Ain't no way. You dig what I'm talking about? Ain't no way. So, I know personally more than 1,000 people.
Oh man. But the Creator is unstoppable no matter what they do, and shadow banning, whatever.
It don't work, man.
It ain't gonna stop it.
It never works. You dig what I'm saying, man? Salute to everybody who came through. You dig what I'm talking about, man. I've been seeing you cooking. You dig what I'm saying? Dropping them, light on to the folks. You dig what I'm saying? And broadcasting that, man. I seen you on A1 channel cooking too. Salute Print B out there, boy. Salute the brother Prentice. You dig what I'm talking about? Salute Print B, Mahaya, my Ema better than your Ema.
Big thanks.
Right? Eric Ham. You dig what y'all go to my brother channel right now. Y'all go over there to Honor and Humility. You dig what I'm talking about? Go to Honor and Humility. Sub, like, share. You dig what I'm talking about? I also want to I don't want to forget about our sponsor for today. Prince, you might not have seen that we got a sponsor. I see. Salute to Cedric and them good folks over there at Ortega Bacon Lip Country.
What do we have here?
Guy has his lips stuck to the pole.
It's his third time this week.
The revolutionary facial accessory that's starting problems it can't solve. Your 600-pound wife won't kiss you? Slap on a set of bacon lips. Problem solved. Getting caught breaking into your neighbor's house by the guard dogs? Throw them your bacon lips. Enjoy a smooth getaway. About to get punched in the mouth by a Muslim? Throw on your bacon lips. They'll punch you in the stomach instead. Want a face like drop lasagna? Throw on your bacon lips. For the people who lost the genetic lottery but kept buying tickets because putting lipstick on a pig felt too ambitious. Ma'am, can you identify the suspect?
Yes, it was number 4.
How do you know for certain?
I remember his bacon lips.
When dignity is permanently out of stock.
Now and jerk and Cajun flavor, man.
Make bacon lips a part of your incomplete education.
I'm just saying, man. Salute out there to the Ortega Bacon Lip Factory. You dig what I'm talking about? Supporting the show today. You dig what I'm saying? We couldn't have did this without y'all. You dig what I'm saying? Love, life, balance to the Ortega Bacon Lip Pseudo Company. You dig what I'm saying? We couldn't have did it without you. You dig what I'm saying? FGK Capone is up in this thing. You dig what I'm talking about? I am BP Man. Salute. Ray and Shay. Casino up in there. Engine Radio. Salute. Undergrads up in here. The Brian's Yokester up in here. You dig what I'm talking about? Salute everybody. Oahspe Teachings up in here. Creator Gang Gaming up in here. Faithless Music Group. Seraphonic. That's a dope name. Seraphonic. Salute to Seraphonic. You dig what I'm talking about?
That's funky.
That's funky. I like that. Shalom Ya Zayan. Shalom Zayan. Shalom to you. You dig what I'm talking about? My brother BC up in this thing. Jaway up in this thing. You dig what I'm talking about? Creator Gang is up in here. My sister Tabitha up in here. You dig what I'm talking about? A lot of people think that that's a boy. No, Keon is a girl. And for y'all who think we be hating on people from the Caribbean or from other, man, we got faith that's all around the world. She's in the islands right now, man.
Salute to the goddess, man. I thought that was a brother this whole time.
You know I got my little baby bro up in here, Prince Judah Bond up in this thing. You know what I'm saying?
To the faithless family, man.
That's right. Hosea Israel up in this thing. Black Nino Macalini. Salute, man. Love, light up in this thing. My boy Johnny Jane. Shout out Mr. Johnny up in this thing. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out everybody for coming through. Angelic Silver Lining. Jaja is good. Jaja is good. Hold on, let me get back up here.
Time, Jaja, good. Hey, y'all follow me on Prince Judavon Cosmon at YouTube too. I'm trying to grow my channel a little bit more, y'all. So
yeah, man.
A little work on my
drop it in the chat too if you can. You are mod, so you can drop it in the chat.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Y'all go over there and subscribe to my brother channel. Cheap smoking kush. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Call me Big Chief Smoking Kush. Nigga, I like that. Big Chief Smoking Kush, man. Any feedback, anything y'all want to Yeah. They're using swimming pools to train astronauts. Why? Because the basic 75% of the known universe is predominantly hydrogen. And because of the cryogenic temperature of space, it's liquid. So, I listen to the people who always be saying NASA lying. Cosmon ain't always shooting you down. I'm not always shooting you down. You dig what I'm talking about? Because there is things that they just misinforming people about. You dig what I'm talking about? They lying about it. You dig what I'm saying? Or just purposely giving disinformation and not telling the whole truth. Just giving a part of it. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's worse than just telling a lie.
Mm-hmm. I'm so happy that you. I love when you bring out the science-heavy facts, because that's the part that a lot of people missing right now when it comes to being able to prove science and spirituality. They work together. You know what I mean? So being able to break down the ethers and the universe using objective spirituality, man, is like you said, it's cutting edge. And we the only ones doing it, you know. And I'm grateful for the 4 horsemen, all 4 of y'all, and everybody in the game, myself, because man, I'm learning so much every day, bro. And I'm like, dang, how do I make this make sense? Go to the Oahspe, and it's already in 1848. It was already penned to comprehend. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, yeah, we got Cosmos era 3,400 years. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna bring this. We cracking the ice. You know, bringing this balance. So I love it.
And you notice what I like about it is Oahspe don't agree with science.
Yes, you said that earlier.
Right. Oahspe doesn't necessarily agree with science, but science agrees with everything Oahspe say. That's the crazy part. And you ain't got to go no further than this lesson right here to prove that.
You know, if you ain't talking about vortex, right? Because the vortex is the signature or the sign of the creator in all creation. Everything is rotation. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Just like albums, just like that wax that you love so much, it's singing to you. The whole creation is singing a song in rhythm. The earth itself got a pulse every 26 seconds. So this science proves to us that the creation of the universe is live. The earth is alive, the universe is alive, and you know, that type of consciousness and understanding, being able to prove it with sources. Man, we slicing niggas' heads off. You know what I'm saying? The lies are exposed. These niggas' balls their asses is out, if you will. You know? And it's funny to us, we laughing, but at the same time, it's so serious for the babies to be able to grasp. I'll never forget my niece, Madison, came up to me and shook my pants leg and said, "Uncle, why everything spinning?" She about 7, 8.
Baby could tell it.
but even Oahspe say that. Even Bible say out the mouth of babes, you're gonna start hearing stuff that you probably never thought you would have to explain. But it puts it on us as a responsible parent to be able to explain it some type of way to these babies. They asking us these questions now. That ain't no cap. She asked me, "Why is everything spinning?" And but at that time, I've been rocking with gang, so I was able to rattle it off top. Well, because that's the signature of the creator in all things. It's rotation. That's how you know that every watch got a watchmaker. You know what I'm saying? The moon is spinning, keeping time. The sun is spinning, keeping time. So just like your clock, just like your hair, just like the grass, just like the weed, everything growing out the ground, spinning. So it's just a beautiful thing to be able to identify and have an explanation to questions that these babies is asking.
That's true, man.
And then being able to explain the character of the creator. I don't want to get too far off, you know what I'm saying, but it's just a beautiful text. This Oahspe is a power. And if those of us who are really seeking creator and asking these questions that all good people ask us within themselves, you know, then and we're not scary and spookified about, you know, what happens when you die, all these questions that we got, man. We got people out here in this creator gang. Y'all like, share, subscribe to all of the 4 Horsemen channel, Malachi's and Kaz, like, share, subscribe to this one, and Selah's and Daryl. Look, we got a family of faithers, and that's the beautiful part about being in this game. God, right. Salute, man. I'm just talking now, but it's all love, man.
Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? And it's reassuring to know that you're not out there by yourself. You dig what I'm saying? That was one of the things with me personally. I was in Oahspe years before I knew of Faithers.
Damn.
So I was using it and practicing it. You dig what I'm talking about? But at the same time, man, it was lonely because I didn't have nobody to talk to. You dig what I'm talking about? I didn't have nobody to talk to.
Yeah, that's why I started that Faith is Talk little podcast, my little J-Pod podcast on my YouTube channel, because that's just going to be a place where people can come and have somebody to bounce these ideas and these feelings off of. Like, it's a lot of energy in the air right now. I've been, looking at the astrology of the universe and looking at the vortex and the conjunctions of the planets and stars and quasars. I look at all of it, right? Because it's beautiful to me. And so right now it's a lot of powerful energy. People is activating spiritual awakening to their talents and abilities, and it seems like superpowers turning on inside you. To me, that's how it felt. I'm just gonna keep it real. I started realizing that I'm feeling like thoughts of people and people praying for me, and I'm sensing it in like real time. It seems as such, but I don't know how to make no sense of it. But who do you talk to about that? It kind of puts you in a weird place because now you're thinking, am I crazy?
Yeah. That's the first thing you thinking. Am I crazy? And then who the hell do I be talking to when I be having these whole conversations with something that ain't in my voice, nor is it in my head? I can't hear it with my ear, but it resonates like a frequency from the inside. It boom loud. They say it's a quiet voice. It be quiet at first. You know what I'm talking about? It be quiet at first.
When they hit you from all sides, boy.
Man, but that thing turned up. And then the crazy part is in times of darkness like we in right now, right? We coming out of the darkness. We coming out of Aj. You dig what I'm talking about? Coming out of Ajah into a time of etheric light where we rising over 350 nanometers, period.
Woo! We talk about feeling that energy, man. That's what I'm saying. So when you're conscious of that, boy, it make you feel like, woo.
To my understanding, how that represents physically for man is a more rapid available ability to see things that are less than 350 nanometers, X-rays, radio waves, the things that are expressed in them that are commonly unseen will be more readily seen, or can be
accessed. Yeah, depending on your ability to download that level of light.
And that just comes with purity of the body, diet. There's no trick. There's no trick, y'all. There's no trick. None of it. Listen, it'll be harder to do if you're doing negative, but if you doing righteous and you eating righteous, it's like washing dirt out of a clear cup. Let's say you got a water hose
with a power sprayer, with a power washer.
Yeah, you dig what I'm talking about, and you just keep dumping water in there. Eventually, it's gonna be nothing but pure water in there. And what you notice is you're able to see through pure water, and that's the same way man sees outside of himself.
My brother Cosmon Cal is a problem. He is a problem. Let me tell you something, bro. That makes so much crystal clear sense to my whole corporeal and spiritual mind, because it's like I can see, like I'll say it this way: the physical corporeal body, let's say the eyes, for instance, it's not a lens like most people think. It's actually more like a filter. It is a lens in the sense of how it produces light, but it's filtering what you can actually perceive. And if your filters are clogged,
right, dirty,
toxins and dirt and fat from the backs of animals that you shouldn't be killing in the first place, see that it makes it fuzzy for you to see what's really in front of your face. So eventually you're gonna get it. Like you said, you gonna get it eventually. Yeah. But the amount of time it takes to be able to see clearly, you can activate that, throw a little pine saw in your cup. Pine saw meaning actual goddamn, pine tea. How about that? Pine needle tea, for instance. My dad be drinking pine needle tea off the tree. It's a lot of vitamin C in pine, for real. But that's the type of stuff it cleans.
Clean your gut out.
Clean your gut. Thank you. That's what I'm going to. Drinking some pear juice, some prune juice. You're full of it. And once all that come out you'll start to not just see, but you'll feel the vibrant resonance of the Creator's virtues in all of this vortex right around your milly mouth. You know what I'm saying? But right now it's dirty, so we got to brush your teeth. We got to clean up your mess. It's easy to clean your body, your corporeal man. It's harder to cleanse your mind, cleanse your thoughts, sit down and meditate and think positive for others, even your enemies. That takes a little bit more discipline. Yeah, it takes a little bit more discipline. Yeah, but nigga, once you master it, which is your job anyway, as a faithist, that's what you are here to do. To cleanse yourself, get right with the Creator. It's simple. Do good to yourself and other people. It's really easy. Creator's simple. As complex as the Creator's magnitude is incomprehensible, He make it sensible. Simple.
So a baby can get it.
Man, look, because you said something one time. You said the Creator always gonna put the right touch on it. You ain't gotta rush. You know what I'm saying? Some of us, it takes time to master your diet and all that. You take time. Be easy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. You right on track. It take time for everything, y'all. There's a reason and a season, and remember, the greatest practice, the greatest science is practice. Not winning, not losing. The greatest practice is to practice. That is the greatest science. To keep trying, to try to master it. Along mastery, hold on. Sugar Ray Robinson fought 200 fights. He won 174 of them and got 6 no contests. So that's 180 of his fights. He won a no contest out of 200. Do you think he learned more from his wins, his 180 wins, or them 20 losses, or them 19 losses? I bet you it's them 19 losses. I bet you every time he lost, he went on a streak and beat breaks off people.
Facts. They said 9-1. They said Floyd Money Mayweather, he lost one fight. It was balling like a scalded dog, and after that fight, never lost or something. It was something. I don't know if it was a never lost, but I don't think he ever lost after that.
No, he didn't. They robbed him. He actually got robbed in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's right.
They did. I mean, he clearly beat the boy that he was going against. I mean, it wasn't even close. Like, he beat him bad.
Knocked the coins out in Super Mario, boy.
You dig what I'm talking about? But had the boy dizzy and everything. But they robbed him. And he cried. And but listen, just like Prince is telling you, he learned more from that loss than he could have probably learned if he probably wouldn't have went undefeated. He wouldn't have known that feeling that I don't want to do this ever again. I don't never want to feel this no more. Right? I'm never going to let them keep it into the judge's hands, and I'm not so far ahead away that they can't job me. Right? He knew that feeling, but guess what? It was the experience of the loss when he was still in his amateur days. He was in the Olympics when he got robbed.
Yeah, that is right. He was young.
He was in the Olympics. So you dig what I'm saying? It's that experience.
Right.
It was the experience that
That
led
leveled him up.
Yeah, that listen, I'm not gonna go through this no more. Whatever I got to do. You dig what I'm saying? Whatever it is, because it wasn't like he stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
He went harder.
Exactly. And I know that feeling being an athlete myself. I hate losing. I mean, I don't at all, but I do learn the most. You know, I mean, I didn't got so many championships in my life and track meet, first place medals and all kind of stuff. But you're right, man. When you sitting in them blocks after you lost a race, you're like, nigga, nah. I remember, and usually the crazy part is, usually you remember the reasons why you lost your race. Like, instantly, like you remember, like, oh man, I jumped up too high out the blocks. That's why I was behind when I jumped up, or whatever it is. You know, it could be the most minute things, but the greatest athletes always can tell, oh, I slipped right there, or whatever the little thing is.
And they critique themselves.
That's what I'm about to say. Constant judgment of yourself, and that's what's in Oahspe. You be a perpetual judge of yourself constantly, and it hurts sometimes, man. But who else gonna care for you more than you?
But Oahspe say, "What more is a God?" Come on, y'all.
Yeah, man. Shit, hit way different, man.
It's different, bro. It's different, man. So, you know, it's that experience, man, or what we call in life. And without, you know, them ups and downs, you can't learn, man. You can't without the they got
that up and that down thing, boy.
Yeah, that up and that down thing. Right?
Throw them Super Sevens in the A. You might have to play that one on the way out, boy.
We have to play that one on the way out.
That's a perfect closer because we was talking about the, you know, all of that vortexy.
Man, there's a lot going on, y'all. Science is backing up Oahspe, man. This is crazy.
With the easy work, though, not even hard.
Right.
And it's, you know, Oahspe is really the primary is what the title of the lesson is. The primary for the universe.
Yeah.
Nobody else was actually proven what we actually know with the tools we have today in 1848. How the heck was he pulling all of this information? Where was the download coming from after 10 years of fasting on fruits and vegetables? See how clear his cup was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's easy when you upgrade from the RCA jacks to the HDMI cable. It's easy to do that. Just eat fruits and vegetables. None of this is mysterious. It's scientifically proven that if you eat fruits and vegetables, you're going to have more clarity in mind, spirit, and body. So, you know, easy
and
work.
What people unaware of is, though, that y'all already programmed for HDMI. You just ain't tapped into it.
And that's what a lot of us are feeling who have been trying to purify our thoughts and our minds and do good. We've been feeling like a boost. Like, I'm not capping to you, bro. My mind ain't stopped running. No. I'm like, damn, is this going to turn off? Let me just do some push-ups. Let me go for a run.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And then the lost ones, like Kendrick Lamar said, the lost ones keeping me up at night. The world keep reminding me it's danger, but I still risk it all for a stranger. But then lost ones, you know, like you say, it's no spookiness. Don't get spookified. But to be able to understand the fact that information is transferred through the presence and the presence of angels, and that's literally how it's transferred. So sometimes you're gonna feel it on a higher level.
Yeah, like, and they call it energy.
Yeah, it's simple. No, nothing complex. It's just energy. I think it's on Oahspe. It has an example of if you put a cold piece of metal against a room temperature piece of metal, right? It's going to interact with each other. The temperature is going to equal out, or it's going to transfer. Yeah, it's going to be a transfer of heat and cold, right? So it's the same way when angels' presence come around you. You can't see these niggas, and they ain't got to say nothing to your audible ear, but just their presence elevates you, and it's the same feeling you used to get when your grandmama walk in the room, you and all the grandkids playing, your grandma walk in the room, and you just feel different when she step in the room.
Yeah.
That's how simple that shit is to me. I can tell, like, and I don't really understand it all. I'm still studying, but it just makes sense to me. Like, oh, okay, I feel that energy. Like when my grandma said, maybe her line of light is touching me right.
Yeah.
Let me tighten my belt up and pull my pants up.
They sure make you do that.
I'm telling you, ain't no capping, man.
Yeah.
That's real life experience. From experience, I know. I thought I was going crazy for a time, boy. And I met the gangs, and I had a conversation with Selah, and I had a conversation. I actually called you. I actually got your number and called you, and you was like, "You ain't crazy, little bro. You ain't crazy." I'm like, man, I swear to God, I feel like I'm hearing all kind of weird shit.
No, but like for real,
talking to me goddamn.
No, like for real though. Had I not had them experiences early, you dig what I'm talking about? I don't think I'd be able to relate to people so easily. You dig what I'm talking about? Because I'm not like I'm trying to be your friend type guy.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, even though I'm real cool, I'm laid back, but I'm not going out my way to, you know what I mean, try to be cool with nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? So, but understanding how it was to be lonely like that. You know what I mean? You still in the world. You dig what I'm talking about? You got your love people around you, but you dig what I'm talking about? To be able to express it how you want to be able to express it and have people understand, man, it's a lonely feeling sometimes.
That's when you're.
So when people do call me, and people call me all the time, talk to me about stuff. You dig what I'm talking about? Cosmo, what you think about this? What Oahspe say about this? Crazy part is, for the most part, I've never not been able to go in Oahspe and show what it say about it. Ain't nobody asked me no question that Oahspe ain't got something on it.
Yes, you can't point to, and then point to an Oahspe, and then point to in reality.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So you dig what I'm saying? I don't try to put no sauce on. I don't need to put no sauce on.
Nah, there's no sauce needed. This shit came out the oven, nigga, on purpose. Yeah, it's so moist, man. Look, that thing juicy, boy. It's a lovely thing when you can really get your mind elevated and have it confirmed in your soul, nigga. That shit, it's different when you just know because Creator gonna let you know. He ain't trying to confuse us. We've been praying thy kingdom come on earth, thy will be done since we was babies. This shit, it ain't nothing new, really. It ain't nothing new.
It's just the different. What I noticed is it's just
I guess it's
like a higher way of looking at things, you know, because it really don't exclude nothing. You dig what I'm saying? Just the dark stuff. Like if it's evil, if it's dark, leave it there. But it don't exclude nobody. And then it tell you, well, even if you did get it, you got to purge yourself of it.
Right.
You dig what I'm talking about? And until you do that, you can't get up here arguing about no Lord, no God, no Savior.
Which I love that too, boy, because I was getting irritated. I still am irritated about it, but I'm just happy I know how to knock these guys in the back of the head with a bat easy. You know, but boy, I tell you, boy, sitting down listening to some of this stuff at this level now, I'm like, oh wow. I used to really get upset about this and upset about that. I got to go apologize to some people because none of that shit matters.
Right.
It doesn't even matter at all.
And then I had to, bro. I was on fire at one point, bro. Y'all listen, listen. Y'all couldn't even imagine if I'm in gang and I've been getting better. I will still toast you. You dig what I'm talking about? Hit you with some Dukins. You dig what I'm talking about? How you looking crazy out here? Hit you with some of them things. How you float through the air? You be looking stupid. But
man, boy,
at the same time, I done got better. Just like Prince said. You dig what I'm talking about? I done got better. It's certain things I won't even argue or entertain no more.
Easy.
One of my very first debates was about flat Earth. I was against flat Earth. Do you know I will not even entertain a conversation on? Listen, it make my soul hurt to talk about flat Earth.
Oh man.
You dig what I'm talking about? So, cause you just like, man, where do you gotta go to be there? You dig what I'm talking about? Where do you gotta be spiritually to be that dark? That you just looking past everything that's moving. You dig what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Man,
even
nothing moving. I said, damn.
I mean, I got off TikTok because I was doing TikTok for a minute, and I was, doing, but it's so low grade in TikTok for the most part when it comes to just talking about religion and spirituality. It's like, damn, these niggas were trying to tell me it ain't no soul. I said, what? Yeah, so y'all don't believe it's a spirit in your body that comes out when you die and goes up? They're like, what? You believe that there's spirits in the heavens above, like in the sky, like there's cities in the sky
on the earth.
I said, yeah, as above, so below, my bro. It's just a different level of light.
My thing is, okay, there's literally millions and millions of people who tell you that they didn't see the ghost or had some type of spiritual interaction.
Yes.
Every one of them lying? Everyone? Okay, my thing is, even if 1% of the hundreds of millions of people that said it, that's a million or two people that it actually happened to.
Right. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
it's not spooky.
It's not spooky. It just is what it is. It happens in the real world, and even though it's not always seen, it can be seen. And then Oahspe explained why we see a lot of this on camera. Right? Oahspe explains that because our minds and our eyes are trained, right, to try to make sense out of things. So it doesn't just see.
It perceives, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't just see on its own. No, something else that thinks behind it. Right?
Right.
But
that's cold.
But the camera is just cold, unsensitive, unthinking. You dig what I'm talking about? So it's able to pick up apparitions in different levels of light. Because remember, a lot of times we see these things be going on and these spiritual things be going around them, and the people right there in the room don't see it. But the camera picks it up.
That's usually how it happens.
You see what I'm saying? So, and then like I tried to tell the brothers the other day, listen, man, I get that you're not a spiritual person, and I understand that, but for the millions and billions of people who have had spiritual experiences, whether good or bad, ain't no way you gonna try to convince us that they wasn't real.
Right. And ain't no way every last one of the testaments of spiritual contact is fake.
Lying, everybody lying, ain't no way.
Can't be. The concept of it going to ancient times. I mean, we talk about people of the present time, spiritualist movement and all that 1800 times, but even going back in ancient texts, you can see people communicating with angels and spirits, talking about all that. Bro, come on, man. So, like, I just look at it as people just very, very low grade who just deny anything, after death, or they try to say that
what they can't hold in their hands.
Right, but then there's a science that shows when a person dies, there's a weight that they lose weight because the spirit has a sense of density of its own.
Don't you say that no more, Prince, because they can't prove that, and that has been that as pseudo, even though that's looked at as pseudo, but a science that has been proven is the fact that it's light.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to
spirit would be energy or motion in the body. And the fact that motion stops upon death, and the light stops upon death, is proof that the expression or the spirit leaves at that point objectively. That's how you show a materialist a subjective thing, objective.
Boy, knock the coins out of boy head.
Ron's yoga up in this thing.
Let me tell you something, we ain't out here doing nothing. I can tell you scared, boy, niggas stop fronting. It was all in the plan.
In the building.
Yeah.
Word, jelly bird.
Man, I've been in and out, man. You know what I'm saying? Still trying to keep my ear to the YouTube here on Cosmon Cal TV. You know what I'm saying? Peace to both you brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing y'all thing on today. You know,
salute to the guy, Bronze Young, man. Peace, man.
It was just something that I think Cal just said a second ago, man. I guess we was talking to folks about spiritual matters, man, and sometimes you don't even be entertaining the situation. You just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how I be, man. But
Oahspe say, are good sermons supposed to be forced into the ears of the unwilling?
Never. That's like tossing pearls to swine.
Wow.
Yeah, and even on that note too, man, it's kind of like the litmus test with certain conversations, man, because you let a person talk long enough, you can tell they ain't had no experience. You know what I'm saying? That happened. Not to look down on them, but you know, it ain't happened to you yet. It just probably wasn't your time at the moment, but hopefully it will come to where you know you can get on that level of understanding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They gotta keep it real with themselves. That's one of the first lessons in spiritual awakening. Keep it real with yourself. You know what I mean? If you didn't have a spiritual experience, you know it. And can't nobody take that from you. You know what I mean? But when you get to flabbergasting and flip-flopping at the millie mouth and that's when niggas can discern, like that's when niggas can discern off top, like, oh nigga, you just want attention.
Yeah, like even some of the cats, man, that been on YouTube for years, got a big following. Like you listen to them talk long enough, you be like, man, that cat couldn't have had no spiritual experience talking like that.
Are you talking about Billy? You talking about old Billy Carson?
No, I ain't talking about him.
I'm just playing. I'm just name dropping. Just
shots fired.
Oh man.
Yeah, because you do have some people that are strong academically with the spiritual lingo, but haven't had the spiritual experience yet. You know what I'm saying? And you know that spiritual experience can go a whole bunch of ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's why even in that you can't keep it in a box. You know, you don't necessarily have to have an NDE. Or you know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to have a OBE. You know what I'm saying? But some shit can just happen. You know?
Yeah, but that's what I was saying the other day on my channel. I was just talking about it because I feel like right now that level of experience is happening to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't really know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? Or it might be
in this day and age, yes, sir, bro. I see it all the time now, man. Like, yo.
Well, would y'all fellas say that, well, the basic problem is not that the spirit is not interacting, but people's ability to perceive it.
I would agree 100%.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because just because they're not experiencing it, don't mean it ain't, or they not aware that they're experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't mean that it ain't happening.
Right. That's definitely true. And you know, you got to be able to discern based on. You could tell, like, now that we got this old, we already read through how to discern the inspirations,
right,
of an entity, a spirit. You can discern whether it's coming from a righteous perspective or not. You know what I mean? So all of this stuff, we got a practical way with this Oahspe to be able to help people get through these questionable times, or whatever you want to say about it. You know what I mean? Those questions that you got in the back of your mind, and what am I feeling? What am I hearing? What was that? Oh shit! What, you know? Whatever, however it goes.
Yeah, like, why all of a sudden did I get angry? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
where did it come from?
Yeah, you know, and it's like, you know, when you're maturing spiritually, and you take a back seat to yourself, like, man, why did I get upset like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, a lot of people aren't even aware of that. You know what I'm saying?
And they won't keep it real with themselves to tell it. Man, trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know people who just won't just admit, okay, I was wrong, or they don't want to take that back seat and judge themselves as they should. And it's like, come on, man, we getting up there in age now. You know, you should be able to have emotional maturity and balance yourself. You know, but like you said, a lot of people are incapable at this level to really be conscious of that and take accountability, really, of their own selves.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the thing. You just got to take accountability for what you're doing, man. You know what I mean? It's gonna make you change. You dig what I'm talking about? Because you're being responsible. You will change. Talking about, so, you know,
the Creator gonna reward you in your own behavior. That is that's the reward.
Yeah.
Is when you can say, "Damn, I came a long way. I used to do this and that, or I was a liar, or whatever it is." You know, that's the reward. The Creator said, "I'm gonna reward you in your behavior. When you try, you gonna get it. You're welcome."
That's facts. Hey, fellas, man. Hey, I've been cooking up on here for a couple hours, man. I'm gonna get up off this thing, man. I got some stuff I got to do. Hey, man, Brian Show, let them know where they can reach you at, man. Y'all and plug that thing you gotta come through, you man. You and Dreadful need to come through.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt, man. You can catch me over at either the Browns Yoga Report or the Dreadful Yogi. The Dreadful Yogi channel, man. We're trying to get something together, man, and you know, like we always do about this time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
hey, man, Prince Judavon, man, let them people know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, y'all know my name, Prince Judavon Cosma, at youtube.com. That's where my channel is at. Y'all stay tuned for a lot of Creative Gang music we working on too. I just want to put the fire under the tutor. You feel what I'm saying? Because we got some stuff in the, you know, we working on. So y'all keep that inspiration, keep that creation coming out your spirit and activation for the one ever present, man. I love y'all indeed in the truth, man. Bless up.
Bless up.
Always. Hey, yo.
What's up?
Hey, you do something for me?
What's that, homie?
Breathe in and let that light in. Cause I'm Cosma and I'm old.
And oh yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feel it when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh, just that Japheth, that Chow Mein, that Papa Bull, that Tao Mein, since sunset in the arc of Wayne, my brain moving like Tao Sang, so ass above, it's so below, that up and that down thing, this flow is atmospheric, I call that a ground game, see water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning, so how your God make a sun without vortexing and current, see the pattern is ponic, I'm reaching out for my people, Oahspe flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ether, and when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing Puerto. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Gavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sealer. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door star. And the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar. Oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahuin is now a ennui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God's, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oahspe flow is so potent, set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you making salat. Well, I'm a Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith is so yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how